Kick back, unwind, and enjoy a rare find. Welcome to another edition of Hauls from the Bins. Today, looking on my floor here, we have 18 VHS tapes, and most of them are from the 80s taped off the TV. And, possibly for the first time ever, for this rare finds, I've actually watched all these tapes. So you're going to see a little behind the scenes stuff as to how I'll have sticky notes with what's on the tapes and maybe some dates based on commercials and things like that. So we're going to go through all the tapes and let's go. First up, we have an 80s tape all the way. It's heavy, it's got a cool pattern on the front. There's a word up here, shiny sides, and this one says Walt Disney number 3. I didn't see the other ones, but let me show you what's on this bad boy. Here's my notes. You might get lost reading this with me. It has Mickey's Christmas Carol from 1987 with the commercials, adult and children's commercials, Wendy's, McDonald's. It is not the Disney Channel. Then it has Christmas Eve on Sesame Street. Then the Nutcracker Play, Act 1 and 2. It's on TV Channel 12. Then we have half of the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer stop-go animation. And then part of this movie called A Mouse, a Mystery, and Me. End tape. Whew, well, if you're still with me after that, we got 17 more to go. But they're not all as crazy as that one. This one has the wrong slip sleeve, this newer one, that, man, look at this old 80s tape. Hold on, we gotta get a close-up of this. Getting excited about these 80s tapes. Look at that crazy pattern on the front. Yeah, shiny sides, it's heavy, it's got the crazy pattern. And it says Mary Poppins. And it says Mary Poppins on there. Well, what do you think is on here? It's Mary Poppins. I couldn't figure out the year because it had 1982 commercials, but then I saw a couple that were 1986. And then there's like a little commercial with a news thing, and it says Dr. J retired, and that is from 1986. And it has some more sports stuff going on in there. That's it. The quality is not really that great on this one, so I don't know if I'm going to keep it or not. The other one, the Disney one from before, that one is a keeper. Next up, we have this one in the plastic case. On the side and the top label, it pretty much has the same thing written. Ghostbusters, Jetsons, Flintstones, and then some things crossed off. Then Scooby-Doo meets the Boo Brothers. Well, brother, what do you think's on here? I'm gonna tell you. It's from 1992 with commercials on channel Philly 57. Ghostbusters does have commercials after 30 minutes. Then it does have the Jetsons Meet the Flintstones from 1990 with commercials. It does have Scooby Meets the Boo Brothers. Some commercials, then all kinds of stuff is happening. There's a sitcom cutting in there, and then it's from 1993 because there's that ZUXA, that person, that TV show, Zusha? I forget how it's pronounced. Then we have Countdown at the Neon, Armadillo, and then there's some country music stuff. So this tape's kind of cool, but I don't know if it's a keeper or not. Next up, Lost. Yeah, the TV show. And does this really have what is advertised? It does. It is Lost with commercials from October 2006. And I know this because there's a TV show called The Nine. It's the series premiere and it's coming up. And somebody taped it on their widescreen TV because it's in widescreen. And you can see how much of this tape I've actually watched. There's a lot left on this tape to be discovered. Next up, we have this 80s slip sleeve, late 80s, and we have this 80s tape. But this is a Scotch and this is a TDK, so they don't go together. But here's what it says is on here. The Great Sports Debate, Christmas Show, Music, Eagles vs. Washington, 1992. And here's what we have. It's actually a pretty cool tape. It's from 1992 on a channel called Prism. I didn't even write down what show it was, but it has commercials. Then Christmas in Washington, all commercials. Then the NFL game, second half, is on there, all commercials. Eagles Redskins, 1992. Then it has the Studs TV show from 1991 with commercials. It's in July. Cars movies, good ones. Those are all commercial related. And there's a car one from 7/20, 1991, then several clips of shows in a row, Tom DeLuise show with commercials, and then at the end of the tape, early 80s for a minute, with MASH and commercials. But that only happened for like 45 seconds right at the end. Pretty cool tape. Maybe it's a keeper. Still with me? If you're still with me, thanks. We got some good ones coming up. Here's an old 80s Kodak one. Shiny sides, cool graphics, cool grooves rather, on the front, and then the side says Walt Disney in July. And I've barely watched any of this one, but it's channel 29 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It's from 1988. There's a parade and it's being hosted by Mark Summers. And some other stuff going on. I've only watched barely any of this one, so we'll see what's on the rest of this. The side label of this one says K, and the top of it says K. Okay, what's K? It's from 1987. It's actually bad quality, and the K stands for Kelly's Heroes. Has commercials, and then there's something called Battle Cry on. I think it's another war movie. But yeah, this one is not a keeper. Next up we have this cool slip sleeve, but it does not match the tape, as per is the pattern for this video. Here it says tape over, like this is the tape you tape everything onto and tape over it. Swiss Family Robinson and Walt Disney. Well, it's blank for a while, but then Swiss Family Robinson really does come on. It's from 1994 with commercials. Then it has the last 30 minutes of the Uncommon Valor movie. It's the $1 million movie from TV with some commercials, and then the tape ends. Next up, Star Trek The Next Generation, and this can be the 80s, the 90s, 2000s, who in the heck knows. Basically whenever, but it's a later tape and it does not look old, and you know what? It's not. It's taped off the channel G4 and it's from July 2006, and I know this because there's a commercial for Clerks 2 coming out in the theater. Not a keeper. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we have 9 left. We have the Whites at Walt Disney. I'm assuming that's a family. Up here it says the Whitty family at Walt Disney. Is it Whitty or White? Who knows, but it is a home movie. There's a kids parade, there's a zoo, they're in an 80s house, there's a birthday cake, games, presents, Christmas 2, parade again. Is it the Disney official one? I don't know. Next up we have a late 80s, early 90s tape, and it says, wait, is it our family from the last tape? Well, it's a home movie. There's a house fire and fire trucks, but I think it's like a controlled one where they're doing it to an abandoned building for practice. Didn't seem like there was any cause for concern by anybody in this video. Next up we have this tape, which seems kind of heavy, and it says Gallagher, like that guy from the 80s that would smash the watermelons and all that stuff. But that is not what's on here at all. It's MTV Unplugged, but I didn't write down the band, somebody I didn't recognize. And it's from July 2001 because there's a Max Payne video game commercial. I mean, obviously I can probably look that up and see who that was on the Unplugged show, but I barely watched any of this tape, so there's a lot left on here. There might be some Gallagher on there, maybe 80s stuff. This is the longest video ever. Anyway, this is a tape that actually matches its slip sleeve. It's from the late 80s, and it is blank. Yeah, look at this. Shiny sides, it's heavy, and there's 80s stuff on it. Sorry, that's a lie. It's from early 1991. The Oscars are coming, there's commercials, it has the really cool HBO intro. Then there's a movie called The Last Rites. Commercial after, about the movie. There's a thing about the special effects of the movie Warlock. Some Oscars hype. This is all still on HBO, and then it switches to channel 2, it's LA Law with commercials. Then briefly there's The Secret of the Use. Then channel 2's Baltimore News for 10 minutes, and then there's a movie, And the Sea Will Tell. Then there's some news involved in the Gulf War. So, super random tape. I'm not sure if it's a keeper yet or not. I'll think about it. Man, look at this 80s random slip sleeve. I don't even know who makes it. It's just a standard VHS cassette, super high grade, apparently, slip sleeve. But it's a blank tape and it is from the 80s. It is The show HBO On Location is from December 31st, 1988, and it has Andrew Dice Clay doing a stand-up thing. Okay, 4 left. Early 90s slip sleeve, and the tape actually is pretty heavy and seems 80s, but it could be, but the stuff on it is not. It is the movie The Replacements. It came out in 2000, it's on HBO, no commercials, and I know this was recorded in 2001 because at some point the person watching it flipped over to the TV Guide channel, so you see it scrolling and there's the date there. Then it has the movie 1999, The Haunting, which I watched for the first time, and it's something. I can't say I liked it, and the ending was a mess, but it was an experience to watch. Then we have a show from 1998, I don't know what channel it's on, it's Surviving the Moment of Impact, one of those car crashing shows from the late 90s, has commercials, then there's a war documentary, and it has no commercials. So this tape is not a keeper. Okay, here's the one twist of the episode. This one is not taped off the TV, it's a fly fishing video, and I've tried to start collecting the fishing videos because they seem kind of rare, and we were into fishing a lot back in the early 90s and like middle 2000s. Fly fishing, Cortland, Confidence. Cortland, I guess, is some kind of tackle company. We didn't do much fly fishing, but it's a fishing video, and so I got it, and I mean, it's not very exciting to watch, honestly. 2 tapes left. I got this one because it has this cool red stripe at the top for the cover flap, whatever you call that thing. This thing. And it's really lightweight, so I knew it was a cheap, newer one. And what did they tape up here? What is it for? Is it a promo tape? It is Force 10 from Navarone, which apparently is a sequel to The Guns of Navarone. And I like that movie, but this movie is not really highly rated. I didn't waste my time watching this one, to be honest. And then the very last tape and the very last rare find of this VHS hauls from the bins episode. Feels like I've been filming this for 2 hours. It is this tape. It just says news. Well, what kind of news is it? How old is it? It's a later tape. It's not old news. It's new news. It is Fox News in Philadelphia. It's a snow day from December 2002. And you're watching the Weather Channel and stuff like that. But to be fair, I barely watched any of it, so it's probably the rest of that, but maybe there's something else cool on it. Well, that's it. And remember, like Indiana Holmes always says, keep up the grind, and you get a rare find.